Welcome to the political discussion, where we'll be discussing politics. So today we're going to start by looking at this article titled "A Rural Corner of Virginia Starting to Turn on Trump" by Jeff Newman. This article concerns a small town inside of rural Virginia, Northern Virginia, titled the Northern Neck Peninsula, turning on Donald Trump. This is an area that voted heavily for Donald Trump, and they're turning on him due to the coronavirus response. So let's look at the situation of coronavirus currently in the US. Currently, we have 537,356 coronavirus cases, 21 deaths, 1,000 deaths. Um, so, looking at the graphs, we see that we have had a nearly exponential increase of coronavirus cases, total cases. Um, our daily cases has peaked, so that's a good thing. So hopefully we're not looking at too many more or an increase like we saw over here, where we saw a linear increase in the daily new cases, which translated to a near exponential increase in the total cases. And the deaths, of course, will be increasing, but the deaths are peaking currently as well, set to peak this weekend. So we did see the record number of 2,035 deaths in one day, 2 days ago on April 10th. So going back to the article, we're starting to see that in the Northern Neck, Trump supporters are starting to remove their signs because they are disappointed in his reaction to the coronavirus. So, a recent letter to the editor printed in the Northern Neck News, a local newspaper, read, "Nothing has highlighted Trump's ineptness to lead more than the current crisis." Uh, another Another in the Rappahannock Record accused the president of sleepwalking and being tone deaf in his response to the global health crisis. A few weeks ago, I could ignore the parts of his personality that I didn't like. That's over. I don't believe anything he's saying now. So we're starting to see that these Trump supporters are having an issue with the president's response to the coronavirus, with his tact, really. But will this pan out? Will this have an effect? Another Matt says that a lot of guys in the shocking houses around here are Hispanic migrants, and they are really good guys, hardworking guys. Um, so these are issues that were brought up in the during the 2016 campaign by the opposition. They said that Trump would be um, incompetent, that he wouldn't be able to lead properly, and it's interesting that these Trump voters are saying the same things now. But the question is will this pan out? This happens in Virginia. Uh, Trump will not win Virginia, most likely. But is this a trend? Is the question. Will this are rural voters only turning on him in this corner of Virginia, or is it happening nationwide? So let's look at the electoral map. So most of these states, let's look at the most rural swing states, because these are the states where marginal changes will have the largest effects. So I filled in all of the least rural all of the least rural swing states. Let's say they all vote for who they voted for in the 2016 election. So let's start off by looking at Pennsylvania, which has 20% of a rural population. So Donald Trump won Pennsylvania last time by less than 1%. So just over 1%. If he loses it this time and we give it to the Democrats, then that puts Joe Biden at 245 electoral votes, which is not so far from the 270 needed. Ohio, if which has around 20% of a rural population as well. So if Ohio, which Donald Trump won by 10%, if the rural population turns on Trump in such large numbers, we could see the state get closer, but I don't think it will flip to Donald Trump, to flip to Joe Biden. Michigan won by Donald Trump by less than a percent last time. If the rural population in Michigan turns on him he will lose the state. Even if it's 10% of the rural population, 20%, any significant number of the rural population turns on Donald Trump, he will lose Michigan and Joe Biden will win the state. Wisconsin, another one. Nearly 30% of Wisconsin is rural. Same thing here. He won it less than a percent last time. If the rural population, any significant portion of it, turns on him, Joe Biden will win the state, which would give him the election. Moving forward, Iowa, 35% of Iowa is rural. If there is a significant portion of Iowa of the Iowa rural population that turns on Donald Trump, and we saw that the Democrats in Iowa were able to flip 2 of the House seats. So the Republicans need every vote out that they can. Donald Trump needs to win every vote that he can. If the Democrats are able to increase turnout as they did in 2018, as well as Trump's rural population support going down, Joe Biden will be able to win the state, which leads us to 2 of our most rural swing states. New Hampshire, 40% of New Hampshire is rural. Hillary Clinton won it by 1%, by less than 1% last time, 3,000 votes. If there's any significant portion that turns on Donald Trump, he will not win the state he won't even get close. Maine, 61% of Maine is rural. If this trend occurs in Maine as well, then all of Maine would go to Donald Trump, will go to Joe Biden. Donald Trump would lose the 2nd district, he'd lose the 1st district, and he'd lose Maine at large. He lost Maine at large last time, and he'd lose now the 2nd district as well, which would give Joe Biden 285 electoral votes, coming close in Iowa, managing to flip Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, Donald Trump being able to barely hold on to Ohio. So that's it for this video. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again. Once again, have a happy Easter.